Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is a very convenient time to be a masculine male. You know, I think it's the ripple effect of what's happened in our culture, where there's the whole non-binary movement, non-binary, so people are identifying as no gender, or you can change genders, or genders don't exist, and you can, whatever it is, or you can be born one gender and now you're a woman, or you used to be a man, or vice versa, whatever it is. See, our culture now teaches you must accept that, and if you don't, then you're a bigot. So what happens? Everyone's behaving now. People aren't saying anything bad about it, and myself included. I don't care. Let people do whatever they want to as long as they're not hurting each other. I'm not concerned with it. With that being said, because we now know that we must, as a society, be accepting of people that we don't understand and that typically weren't accepted by society, because of all that, because we must think that way in order to be good citizens now. Here's a side effect of that. Men who are masculine are actually celebrated that much more. I am seeing this happen. I am seeing that masculine men are that much more attractive now. Because if you're making a point to be into things that are specifically masculine and rugged, then that's becoming almost a commodity, more so than it was before. And if you can tie that with still being a kind and caring and sensitive person at the same time, man, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Because it's just, here's what it reminds me of. So never in the history of the world, especially America, never in the history of America have there been more people who are obese and overweight and getting onset diabetes and cancer and all these diseases that are preventable, but people are getting them now because there's such easy access to junk food and fast food and all this stuff. So now people are getting onset diabetes, they're getting cancer, they're getting all these health problems. Okay, what was my reaction to that movement 5 years ago? I became a vegan. I said, I'm not going to get diabetes if I can avoid it. So I became a vegan. A month from now, it had been 5 years. So in the same way that there have never been more people in America that are overweight, getting diabetes and all this stuff, obese, there's also never been more people who are becoming vegan. 6% of America is now vegan. And it wasn't that way even, 3 years ago, 0.5% of America was vegan. So what you see is, in one side we've got this movement, I'm gonna eat fast food, I don't care, I'm gonna get diabetes, so be it. This is just how I am, I can eat whatever I want. I need more protein, I need more protein, I need more protein. And then guys like me say, if that's my future, I'm walking the other way. And I am. So now I've been a vegan for 5 years, and I think it kind of, as a side effect, builds that movement. Now let's tie this back to masculine men. Same thing in our culture. So all of a sudden, we need to be supportive of people coming out and being gay and being non-binary and being whatever they want to be. We're going to let them be that. This is now rising. The acceptance of this is now rising. Masculine men. Now there's this unspoken rule that, man, if you are a masculine man, you're that much more attractive, because just as society has accepted that all these other things are okay, well, what about the old standard of masculine man? What about that? Well, if you're undeniably a masculine man, and especially again, if you're also still kind and helpful to other people, that is so attractive. That is so attractive. Who cares about receding hairlines at this point? That's a nice looking beard you got coming in there, right? So I think this is a very good thing for masculine men, and I think this is a very good thing for men in general, especially those of us who have any issues at all with a receding hairline or hair loss. It only reinforces the fact that we're masculine, that we're men, and this is what men do. Men lose their hair. They grow facial hair. They wear flannel. This is a good thing, and we can celebrate this, and we cannot be ashamed of it. You know? We don't go around saying, I'm proud to be a man, because that would be ridiculous. We don't have to say it. We just do it. We just live our lives as masculine men who don't worry about stuff. Because part of being masculine is not worrying. It's funny, I'm watching a horrible movie right now, The Godfather 3. I'm just watching it because this last week I watched the first two for the first time in my life because I'm on Netflix now. So I kind of, as an obligation, have to watch the third one. But something that Al Pacino's character said, and his protege, he says, never say out loud what you're thinking. Never say out loud what you're thinking. Now, that's part of being a masculine man, is that you're in control of your emotions, that you don't let other people control your emotions. And if you are anxious or fearful of something, you don't talk about it all the time, and you find a way to privately manage it and work it out. So, okay, so we are men that are losing our hair. And here on this channel, we can talk about it. But obviously, a big no-no is in the real world. Outside of this channel, you would never talk about your insecurities about your hair loss. But even then, it's not a matter of denying that part of yourself. It's a matter of getting through it and getting over it and realizing, boy, I tell you, never has there been a better time for masculinity than there is right now. As long as you're accepting of other people, people will recognize you. That in a world of men wearing way too tight pants and caring way too much about their appearance, here's a guy who actually kind of seems like he doesn't really care, but he cares enough to be in control of the situation. But maybe that's what masculinity looks like. A man who's in control of his own emotions, who's not all caught up in looking a perfect certain way. Wow. I like that. That's masculine. And I'm paying more attention to that now because of all this other stuff. It's the counter to it. There's never been more overweight people getting diabetes that they could avoid. But there's never been more people like me rebelling against it, saying, I don't need protein. We don't need more protein. I'm fine. Look at me. I'm still here after 5 years. I think it's really, truly a good comparison of what's going on. Anytime in society you have one movement that's becoming either the norm or is getting a big spotlight on it, you're going to have the counter movement that maybe was there all along, but becomes that much more popular. The movement of being a masculine man and celebrating being a masculine man. Yeah, we have feelings, we have emotions. We just keep the breaker switch off. And if we need to use our emotions to interact with people to prove a point, we will. But we're not like, oh no, my hair, oh, I'm losing my hair. Oh, what are people going to think of me? Oh no, That's not masculine. Here's masculine. Yep, guess it's happening. Oh well. What? Am I supposed to fall apart because that's happening? Isn't that supposed to happen? I'm a man. Aren't I supposed to lose my hair? What else would you expect?